Hey everyone, welcome back. What a glorious weekend it has been for us. We're getting new all-time highs every day. It seems like it's not going to end, but I think we will end eventually. Eventually we need to come down a little bit, I think, but not yet. I think we can still continue to go up much higher. And then we'll talk about, obviously, can Bitcoin get 200,000 this year still? I think so. We'll take a look at the charts on that. We'll take a look at the miners as well, see how they did on Friday. Cleanspark was obviously halted for trading. We'll talk about that as well. And then we'll take a look at the miners, see how they did against Bitcoin this past week. And then we'll also take a look at the smaller miners. We haven't done an update on those guys in a while. A lot of you guys have been requesting that I go over those guys. So we'll get into that as well. And then we'll get into Q&A. And that should be it, I think. I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. If there isn't something there that we want to cover, we'll talk about it in the Q&A. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, as always. Full disclosure down below that. Subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed subject content. Would help me out. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin. So it's been a fun weekend. I hope you guys had a great weekend. But man, it's not like we're getting new all-time highs every single day here, which is fun also, but a little worrisome at some point. I think, like I said, at some point, I think we're going to have to come down a little bit at least to kind of give it a little breather before we go up much higher here. Only thing that's kind of worrisome, not so much though, a little bit though at least, is let's get into Bitcoin first. We'll get into the worrisome part of it. Bitcoin right now reached a new all-time high at 81,788.99. Right, that's on today. Yesterday reached a new all-time high of 81,534. So we're, knocking out these new all-time highs here pretty quickly here, which is nice to see. But Bitcoin is up right now 1.32%. It was up yesterday, which is the end of today, basically. It was up 4.84%. Friday, it was up really, when was that? Wednesday, it was up huge. Wednesday, we were up 9%, right? And then we've had 0.36% up, 0.85%, a little bit of 0.2%. So kind of accumulation here going on here, maybe a little bit in those last 3 days. And then obviously here today, it's just been going bonkers here. So it's been great to see that happening. RSI is looking a little overheated right now on the daily. As you can see that it's at approximately 78 right now. That's what I'm saying. We may need a little bit of pullback here, but looking at the 1 hour chart, if we look at that, we were overheated here on that one just yesterday, and it kind of went sideways here a little bit while the price was actually going up. Then we went down a little bit here today, and then we're going back up, and we're still like right around 70 right now. So I think we can still go up much higher here, and then we'll have a little pullback, and then we'll continue that on. You can see the same thing here happening on the 15-minute chart. RSI gets overheated, goes sideways for a while, price goes up, comes back down a little bit, kind of a breather there, and then right away goes back right up, right? So there's definitely a lot of buying happening here of Bitcoin, which is nice. We have a lot of things happening that are good for us. Trump victory obviously is helping tremendously here, it looks like. And then the talk about the not Federal Reserve, making it a reserve asset on the books for the United States. That's helping things out. Then you have possible talks with states doing the same thing, other countries as well, which some already are doing it anyways, but more countries adding on to it. You got the ETFs, you got all the stuff, you got so much adoption and so much demand happening here for right now that this is a great time to be in it, right? Hopefully you guys got into it beforehand when prices were much lower. But yeah, even if you get into it now, I think you're going to do very well going forward regardless. Okay, now the thing that's kind of worrisome here a little bit is on the CME futures gap. There's quite a big gap here. So I went back and I looked through the last cycle when we were going up parabolic with Bitcoin, and did we have a gap there? And we did. The gap did not get filled until way, way later on. So the good news is we can have a gap in a bull run. It doesn't have to be filled. Yes, like I would say 95% of the gaps do get filled, maybe even higher percentage than that. But we do have a gap here between, what is that? We had a high of 77,930 here, and we are now at a low was 80,670. So that's kind of our gap right there on the CME futures gap. Last time that has happened, this was back in, I think this was 2021, I believe. Let's see here. Yep, right there. There's that gap. So this happened in December, actually, of 20. So this was right before the 2021 rally that we had here. But we had a gap, and the gap was between, let's see here. I'll zoom in on it, sorry. All right, so that was roughly between, we had a close of 23,685, and then it opened up on Monday at the low was 26, so about $1,500 gap here that we had on the CME futures. And you can see here that didn't get filled until way, way, way later on. So we can have those gaps where they don't get filled for quite a while. And it didn't get filled until, oh gosh, going back all the way to here, which was in 2022 when the gap got filled. So basically 2 years, roughly, a year and a half, 2 years, roughly, until it got filled. So we'll see how it goes this week. If it doesn't get filled, I'm not too concerned about it because it has historically happened before as well. Okay, so there's that. And that one, miners had a okay day on Friday, right? It was a little bit, I wouldn't, what's the proper adjective to describe it? I'm trying to think of it, and I can't think of it right now, but it was just lackluster a little bit. Bitcoin wasn't doing much anyways on Friday. It was up just a little bit. So the miners were doing the same thing. They were up just a little bit here as well. We had a couple that were down, but nothing major here, right? Cleanspark was halted for trading since Thursday afternoon, right after it was trading in the after hours, I think, when it got halted. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But I think that one's going to be coming back online here tomorrow for trading again. And I'll give you guys my reasons why as that is. All right, so that's that. Let's take a look at the network hash really quick as well while we're at it. We haven't updated this in a couple of days. See where that's at right now. On the 7-day, we're starting to go back up a little bit here to 718 exahash. Let's take a look at the 30-day average, which is what I like to use. And that has peaked at 713 exahash as well right now. Yeah, right around there. So that's not too bad. If we look at the hash price index right now, that is going up. This is as of November 10th, 5 p.m. Right, 5 p.m., yeah. So just a couple hours back, we're at $50 per petahash. So looking pretty good there. We're getting up to the 50s now, so that's good. And then let's take a look at really quick here the return so far for November for Bitcoin. We're up 15% on November, so it's turning out to be a really, really good month for us right now. But we'll see how things continue going forward this week. I expect this week to be really good as last week was also for Bitcoin and miners. All right, now Cleanspark. So Cleanspark, like I said, was halted for trading on Thursday at around, I think it was like 320 something or other around, right around that time frame. And the reason was it was a clerical error on their warrants for when they basically took over Grid. And here they posted this. This was, when was this date on here? There should be a date on here someplace. I probably should have pulled that date up. November 8th. So this was submitted to the SEC on November 8th, which was Friday. So that they do have it here. We'll have to see if it actually starts trading tomorrow. I think it should, right? With them submitting the amendment to the warrants here, that should cover it, the issue there. And as long as the SEC goes through it and approves it, we should be trading tomorrow. If we aren't trading already, I think some of you guys are saying that we are not having pre-market trading for Cleanspark here. So we may have to wait until tomorrow morning to actually find out if that's the case. But they have submitted the paperwork. Everything should be all good to go. And we'll just have to wait and see. Okay. But that one should start trading again when that does happen. So maybe an hour delay, 2 hours delay, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that does trade because Bitcoin going up so nicely, we really need to have Cleanspark be trading at the same time as well. All right. So that's it on that one. Let's take a look at the miners here, the big guys. We'll look at the big guys here, see how they did this past week. I also pulled in the data. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot. See, got too many things going on here. Also, we need to cover Hive. Hive provided their operational update for October. So we need to go through that. I almost forgot. So let's do that really quick here for Hive. It should be pretty short and sweet. I'm not going to pull up their press release. We have all the information here on this, but we'll just go through this. I just need to go through it because I forgot that they did do that. So with that being done, I was able to do the monthly metrics for the miners. That will be a video coming out tomorrow for that. We'll do a video on that one tomorrow, along with whatever else happens tomorrow. But here's Hive. Okay, so Hive has 117 million shares outstanding. Stock price 465 as of Friday. Market cap 545 million. So they've been doing pretty good here recently. For the last 12 weeks, they're up 28%. They're up 49% from 8 weeks ago. They're up 22% from 4 weeks ago and 31% last week. So really good performance here, gains on Hive here, which is nice to see. The current hash rate about 5.6, future hash rate 5.9. Yes, they are planning to get to like 13 exahash sometime next year. We just don't have the purchases yet for those things. And part of that is going to be through their Paraguay site they're building out as well over there. Okay, Bitcoin HODL increased a little bit here to 2,624. That's valued at 172 million right now. and that represents about 31.5% of their market cap here. For October, they mined 117 Bitcoin, which is a nice little increase here from 112. So that's good there. And let's go down here. Monthly revenue also increased to 7.67 million. It's still not the best that they've had here after the halving event. The best was 7.84 on June. And then Bitcoin HODL has been growing as well, so that's good to see. Total hash rate stayed the same, 5.6 exahash roughly. Bitcoin sold, they sold 97. They've been selling a little bit more here, it seems like, in October. Possibly fund growth and operations, things like that. BTC per exahash efficiency also increased to 20.71, and you can see how much they sold here. Going down here, we'll take a look at these numbers here in a second here. Let me see, did I update this? Yeah, I did. Okay. Going over here, what did they mine for October? Looks like, based on my numbers, based on the Bitcoin price, where it was for the average for the month, network hash rate, all that stuff, I've been mining for about 28.8 days, which is pretty good, all things considering. We didn't install anything new for them. And then going up here, institutions have increased a little bit here to 132 institutions. Shares increased as well. That's owned by institutions to 37.9 million here. And the percentage actually went down to 32.03. I'm guessing that's because of dilution, right? If the shares increase here, but the percentage decreased, there's going to be dilution there. We now have 4 buy ratings, strong buy ratings, 2 buy ratings, 0 holds, 0 performs, 0 sells. Price target still at $9 for the high, $6.75, up a little bit from the average. And the low is still, excuse me, at $5 right now. So where do I see them at being right now? I see them being somewhere between 458 and 686. They're currently at 465. I think they're pretty fairly valued right now as it is. And if we use the revenue from October times 12 months, I'm at 392 to 589. So that does make me think that they are a little bit fairly valued. But as Bitcoin goes up in value, they're going to be more profitable. At that point, their numbers are going to go up as well. And maybe if I move them up to 15, because they do have a little bit of growth here happening this next 6 months or so, where would that put them? Kind of where the analysts are looking at, right? So that's kind of, that would be between there as well. I'm being a little bit more conservative on the number here. I'm giving it a P of 10. And that's only because they want to maintain the network hash rate of 1%. So that's it. What do they need to do? Basically, they need to grow, just like anybody else. They need to get their hash rate continuing to grow. Operations are great. Uptime is always really good as well. And they've been through this many, many times. So no really qualms there. Okay. So that covers Hive. Let's get into the weekly here for the miners really quick. And then we'll get into the smaller miners as well. So on this chart, we look at how far the miners have come up from the 52-week lows. And we can see here that the miners have done really, really well compared to Bitcoin, especially some miners, right? Bitcoin's up only 119% here from the 52-week lows. TeraWulf is up 806%. It's basically an 8x on top of Bitcoin already, right? But TeraWulf isn't because they're growing their hash rate like crazy. No, it's because they have HPCI potential there, and it's based on around the hype. Until we actually get a news release from them that they have a customer there or something like that, I'm calling it hype, because right now that's all it is. CORZ has a customer there, so that's warranted, I think, right? CORZ has a HPCI customer there. They're also still really large in Bitcoin mining with about 19 something to 20 exahash installed currently, so they're still generating a lot of Bitcoin, and they're up 549%. IREN has done really well here, 293%. Also, they've been growing like crazy this year. Cleanspark, same thing, up 276%. Really, a lot of growth this year as well. Cypher has got 232. They've been growing a little bit this year. I think they're catching a little bit more of a hype around HPCI. Same thing with Hut 8, 216%. Hut 8 has horrific operations when it comes to Bitcoin mining. They've got older fleets and everything else, so they're catching a bit on the HPCI play. BitTier 142%, Bitfarms 121%, so slightly outperforming Bitcoin here. And then you got Marathon up 117%, Hive 113%, and Riot up 101%. So regardless who you picked here, you're doing pretty good here, right? On that. And then the red bars represent how far the miners are away from their 52-week highs. So we still have Cleanspark being the furthest out, 45%. So I still think maybe this one might catch, might be like a little rocket here. As long as Bitcoin continues to go up in value, I would expect this one to catch a nice bid up. Because of that, we also Marathon, Bitfarms as well, right? Far away. Riot's doing a little bit better here, and then IREN as well. So some of these guys, I would think that would get a little bit of a boost happening here because of that. All right, how did they do for this past week? The miners compared to Bitcoin. So it was a very interesting and very good week for miners. Bitcoin's only up 10% for the week last week, and I track it from Friday to Friday, so it's not Sunday to Sunday. I track it basically the days that the miners are trading. And Bitcoin's up at that point 10%. It's done better here in the last 2 days, right? If you look at Sunday through Sunday. But we're looking at Friday to Friday. Cypher's up 36%, so basically a 3.6x on Bitcoin. Riot also up 36%. Terra up 33%. Cleanspark 31 along with Hive. Core up 30%. Hut 8, 22. IREN 21. Bitfarms up 20%. Marathon 19. BitDeer up 14. All these guys have done much, much better than Bitcoin has done. Looking at the 4 weeks chart, things look a little bit different. Bitcoin's up 12%. A couple miners that have underperformed: BitDeer, Marathon, Bitfarms, along with Cleanspark here, right? The ones that have done the best: Terra up 57%, followed by Cypher, and then we would have probably Hut 8 here, the top three that have outperformed Bitcoin. Looking at the 4 weeks chart, Bitcoin's up 21%. Only miner that has underperformed is Bitfarms here, 12%. Everybody else has done really good. Cypher's up 147%, followed by Terra with 83%, and then you got Riot and Hut being 78, 75%. So pretty much everybody has outperformed Bitcoin in 8 weeks. 12 weeks, things look a little bit different again. Bitcoin's up 19%. BitDeer at least did the same. Marathon's only up 3% from there, so that's underperformed. Bitfarms has underperformed. Cleanspark has underperformed. And then the rest have outperformed here, with Cypher being up the most, 79%, along with Terra at 67% on those. Okay, and then here you can see this past, well, you can see the weekly numbers, how everything stacks up, and everything is pretty much in the green. Except our poor little Bitfarms here has been getting kind of smacked around a little bit. But it's down in the last 12 weeks, but up otherwise. Okay, so here's the weekly chart for all these guys here, along with Bitcoin. Saw a lot of green here this past week, which is nice to see. The prior 2 weeks were kind of mixed, kind of in the red. And then we had a nice green week also prior to that. And then you can see how it all transpires down below that. All right. So that's it on the big miners. Let's get into the smaller miners here. And then also let's take a look at, really quick while we're at it, let's take a look at the enterprise value for these guys here, because some of this stuff is getting kind of ridiculous when we look at it now. So here's the latest enterprise value from Friday on these guys. You can see here that based on future hash rate growth, Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Iris are the top three that are the most undervalued here for their future hash rate growth. And you got TeraWolf, which is just outlandishly overvalued right now. 314 million per, just getting per terahash basically right now, which is just nuts. TeraWolf on the current is getting 387 million, so way overvalued for here. So why is it being valued so highly? HPC AI potential, right? Same thing for Hut 8. Hut 8 has 5 exahash right now, operating at like 19, 18 days per day or something like, or per day, 19, 18 days per month. Core I can understand, right? Cypher's catching a bit on the HPCI play as well. But some of these guys over here are way undervalued, in my opinion. And if the world was just, they would eventually outperform some of these guys that are just way overvalued. But time will tell, right, if that's the case on it. All right, so there's that. Let's get into the smaller miners here. We have a lot to go through on these guys as well. All right, so I spent, this past weekend, probably 6 hours or so getting these guys updated. There was a lot of things that I was trying to find, and I had issues with a couple of things as well, trying to I'm drawing a blank on this word. Reconcile the differences between what I had for the revenue and what they actually reported for revenue, and I'm lost on some of these guys. So I will ask for you guys' help if you guys have any input on these guys. If not, we'll leave it as is. Some of the stuff is really challenging, especially if they don't provide broken down operations. If they have JVs, self-mining, hosting, and things like that, at that point, I'm guessing, and my guessing is way off on some of these guys. For some reason, the smaller miners, I have more problems with those guys than I do with the large miners. For the large miners, I get the numbers really, really close all the time. But the smaller miners, I'm all over the board. And I think it's just because of the reporting that they do. It's just a little missing details, I guess you could say, on that one. Okay. So first one here, Argo. Let's talk about Argo. So Argo, if you guys are aware, was hosting their machines, or still hosting their machines with Galaxy Digital. Galaxy Digital is not extending their contract at the end of this year, so I think their contract ends like December 20th something, somewhere around there. So they do have approximately 2.6, 2.5 exahash that's being hosted with Galaxy, and so they're going to have to find space for those guys going forward. Right, Argo has not been doing great this year. It's catching a nice little bit here, and you can see that in the chart as well. On the 12 weeks, it's down 14%. On the 8 weeks, it's actually up 2.7. On the 4 weeks, it's down 7%. Last week was actually down 3% as well. Comparing that, and everything else was up mostly. Let me make sure that I have that updated here. I think I do have that updated here. 10.8, yep, 10.8 for the Bitcoin price. Yeah, so we're using the latest stock market end dates for these guys here. Oops, not that one. I wanted to go back here to this one. Okay, so it has been doing well, and that's because they're having issues, right? They've had issues ever since they had to sell their Helios site to Galaxy. They were close to bankruptcy even at one point. Not a lot of growth there happening for them. And they've been at the mercy of Helios or Galaxy operations there. And if they curtail or something like that, I guess that maybe they're not getting the benefit of it, possibly. They don't hodl anything either right now. They used to hodl in the past, but not anymore. They've been selling off their Bitcoin to basically stay alive. But their Bitcoin production here increased a little bit here in October, which was kind of nice to see, 46. It was down to 37 here in September, so they did operate for a little bit more days. Monthly Bitcoin production peaked in March with 6.97 million. They're up to 3.02 million. So that's not good. Hash rate has been basically flat throughout the last 12 months. Not a good sign. Bitcoin sold, you can see how much they've been selling. They've been selling a heck of a lot more there late last year and into early this year as well. BTC per access efficiency improved a little bit here to 16.82, and then Bitcoin sold, how much they've been selling. Also, last 4 quarters revenue here has been coming down. The current quarter, I'm estimating about 8.4. All right, the only thing that's going to really save them there is Bitcoin going up much higher to like 100,000, 120,000, whatever it might be. That should help them generate more revenue, especially if they're not increasing hash rate. But with them having to move their operations from the Helios site managed by Galaxy, that's going to take time also off of it. They're going to lose some money on that part as well. One, to move those miners, you're going to have to ship them someplace. That all costs things, and then getting them set up probably wouldn't cost you, but it's still going to cost them in time as far as being able to operate, especially with Bitcoin going to be closer to 100,000 or something like that. What else do we have here? Okay, cost of money with Bitcoin here, Q2. This is as of Q2. That's the latest I was able to find for them. I have not found the Q3 results, but not all the miners have reported Q3 here. 39,000 roughly here for that. Debt to equity is negative now on them. Current ratio is not too, like to see that higher. It's not that great. Total current assets, 6.2 million here, right? They're kind of dwindling down on their things. And then total current liabilities, 14.43 million. That's not a good sign, right? It's not a healthy balance sheet there. And then institutions are pretty low, actually. 40 institutions, still quite a bit, though, actually. And then 3 million shares, 4.7% of it. We have 3 hold ratings, 1 hold rating or 1 sell rating, and then 110 for the high, $1.03 for the average, and $1 for the low. I have them currently between $1.96 to $2.94. They're currently $1.13. But given that the state that they're in right now, with Bitcoin going up, maybe they could get to that range there. But with all the issues, I think the only thing that's going to save them is Bitcoin going up. That's the only way they could get up to those ranges, possibly somewhere in between there, because I have them at a pretty low PE value as it is right now. All right, and then let's see here. What do we have here for operations? Operations September, they were operating at approximately 18 days. October improved to 24 days, roughly. All right, so that's at least an improvement there. Like I said, they have older machines as well, 100 terahash, 105. All right. Not much growth happening here forward, so to be honest, I'll be surprised if they survive this. They might be able to survive this cycle, but the next bear cycle, I don't know if they're going to be able to survive unless they really do. I mean, if Bitcoin goes up to like 250,000, 300,000 at that point, could they be worth a lot more? Could they dilute at that point and grow? Maybe. That would be the only thing that might be able to save them. Okay. All right. So there's that one. Bit Digital here is next. Let me zoom this out a little bit. All right, Bit Digital, I put them in the smaller miners only because they're not growing their hash rate, right? And that's one of the things that I talk about here mostly. Yes, we do cover HPC as well, and they do have a great customer there that they're getting close to $100 million a year in revenue for that. But their Bitcoin mining side of things is at 2.4 exahash right now. They were talking about getting to 6 exahash, but they've recently kind of been quiet on that. So it looks like they're planning to go more into HPC AI. They bought up some data centers as well recently. So that's kind of where they're going with. All right. So shares outstanding they have 137 million shares, stock price 429, market cap 589 million, Performance over the last 12 weeks has been actually not that bad, right? It's been actually pretty good. 13% from 12 weeks ago, 35 from 8 weeks ago, almost 6% from 4 weeks ago. And then last week, they were up 20%. Current hash rate 2.4. Future hash rate is supposed to be about 2.8. I think they're just maybe turning off some of the older machines there, possibly. So not much growth there. Bitcoin hodl 731, value at 52 million right now. And their Bitcoin production here was 52, not that much higher than what it was in September. Okay. Monthly revenue also 3.4 million, but they're also catching a lot of revenue for the HPC business that they have there. Bitcoin hodl was increasing all the way through May to 1,038. They sold portion of that to fund the purchase of the servers for HPC. And since then, it's been increasing as well, so it's back up to 781. And I need to update that. 781 is here. 781. Okay, so that's that. Hash rate has been coming down here. Like I said, I think that's because they're probably getting rid of some of the older machines that they do have there. Bitcoin sold, how much they've been selling here. What else here? Bitcoin per exahash efficiency, really nice, 21.48. So that's actually pretty good here. How much they've been selling here. Let's get into the institution side of things. 181, that's a nice increase. 68 million shares on 46.94%. Right? They're probably one of the strongest smaller miners here because of the HPCI play. So they have 3 strong buy ratings, 1 buy rating, 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target $7, so that's actually up. 613 for the average is also up. And the lowest stayed at 550 here on that one. For October, I had them mining for approximately, 31.5 days. How the heck did I come up with that? Okay, they're operating more than I figured, so they got to have really good uptime there. 31.5, what was it, 3.4 million here? 3.4 million, yeah, that's what I came up with. I gave them 7% in BTC transaction fees, too, on top of it, and still had to get them up to 3.15%. So maybe they got some of these, maybe they increased their hash rate. I didn't think they did, but maybe they did. But yeah, almost like 100% uptime. Or they got lucky on some of the blocks. What else do I have here? Oh, my targets for them, 212 to 319. This is based on Bitcoin mining, right? If we include the revenue from the HPCI business and include the revenue from October numbers times 12 months, we get a different story here between 333 and 499. At that point, I still think that they're pretty fairly valued. Some of the institutions are giving them a 7 to 550. I think it's more based on the HPCI potential there, which would be like a PE of 15 roughly, right? And yeah, I could see that. HPC getting a little bit higher bid. So maybe we'll leave that at 15 here for them because of that. And they'll kind of play more or less with what the analysts are also looking at. All right. The quarterly results, we don't have Q3 yet for them. We'll cover that when we do have it here with the rest of the miners as well. But the big thing for them now is really executing on the HPCI potential that they have there. And possibly, I don't even know. If they would get into more Bitcoin mining, I think that would be a good thing. But it seems like that they want to possibly just let this side of the business die down, especially as we get through this cycle. And eventually they'll probably just scrap the older miners because if you see here, they do have older machines right now, 100 terahash, 120, 111 terahash. So, and you got companies now buying 200, 230, 300 some odd terahash machines. So they're definitely going to be at a disadvantage there in the long run. They'll either have to change those out or just scrap them and be done with it and concentrate fully on HPCI and their Ethereum staking and things like that they do there. All right, so that's Bit Digital. Okay, Digihost here. Digihost is an interesting one as well. Not a lot of growth there happening for them. They still have a little bit of growth, but not much. Currently, they have about 29 million shares outstanding, market cap 54 million. I mean, that's not much, right? But not much you can do with that either. You can't really grow that fast because of that, because you can't pull on the ATM. You have to try and grow yourself through operations and things like that, and it gets really tough if you can't pull on that ATM and grow that way. But the performance here over the last 12 weeks has been actually really good. They're up 47% from 12 weeks ago, 60% from 8 weeks ago, 42 again from 4 weeks ago, and last week they were up 26.9, right? They also have other business segments as well in there that are generating revenue for them, so that's good. Let's see here. Current hash rate about 2 exahash. Future hash rate is supposed to be about 2.8. They mined about 28.4 Bitcoin here that I'm figuring out here based on what they reported. Monthly BTC mined here, revenue 1.86 million. HODL, they haven't reported on HODL here recently, so it's been 19 here, but I've kept them at. They have 2 exahash, right? Not much growth here. I mean, you can see they're growth has been pretty flat and then just jumps up a little bit here and then flat again. Bitcoin sold. They've been selling pretty much everything that they mine. BTC per exahash efficiency down to 14.2. It is an improvement over September, but still actually kind of middle range. I wouldn't say it's on the lower end, but still middle range, I would say. Bitcoin sold value. And then let's talk about their revenues here as well. I think they're the ones that were giving me grief along with DMG here. So last 4 quarters was up to 6.8 in Q1, down to 2.97. I'm estimating 2.3 here for them. You can see the costs here as well, all the other things. But let's get down to, it wasn't them. Yeah, it was them as well. Okay. So take a look at this here. I'm trying to figure out what are they valuing for their Bitcoin soft mining here, because for the Q4 here, I had them at 8.4. Based on what they reported as Bitcoin being mined, 95, 77, 82. What was the average price of Bitcoin at that point, right? 2.8 million here was the revenue I calculated, 2.8, 3.4. That all basically corresponds here with that. And I was high. They reported 4.5 million here. So I got issues here someplace. I can't figure it out. I spent like an hour to 2 hours trying to figure this out along with DMG. And I'm at a loss at it. So if you guys have any insight into that, those guys here, Digihost and DMG, would greatly help me figure out where am I going wrong? What am I including that I probably shouldn't be including? Are they including Bitcoin for revenue they're getting in generation or electricity generation or hosting or whatnot? But I am just way off on these guys. So just want to point that out. And then going down here through, because they do have a joint venture as well. I wonder if my joint venture numbers are correct. I tried looking that up on the quarterly results, but wasn't able to find it successfully. But October had them running about 19 days on average here. So that's kind of where I'm at with those. Institutions here stayed the same here, looks like. 29, 3.4 million, 10% roughly. We still have the 1 buy rating for them, and the price target stayed 250 across the board for them. Okay, so based on the numbers that I do have for them, I'm using the last 3 quarters, which are... Let me go through here, make sure the actual numbers that they reported, and then the estimated numbers for Q3 for them, which I don't know if I'm going to be right on that. I'm going to be off like I was here and here on it. So take it with a grain of salt on these numbers here. But in between $1.21 and $1.81, they're currently at $1.84. Looks like they're overvalued. If we look at the revenue from the past month of October times 12, in between 64 cents and 96 cents, right? They got a 250, so... It is what it is. I don't have the greatest data on them. I can't figure them out for some reason. And I think it's just a lack of information, possibly. It's what's causing me grief here. And then also for Q1 here, they didn't report their assets. They only reported their revenues. And then they, for Q2, they did like the first half numbers, 6 months worth of numbers. So then there's no way for me to subtract on the assets and liabilities to figure that out. I could figure out the revenue side of things, but it gets tough when they don't report a portion of it. Okay. So that's it for Digihost. What do they got to do? They got to grow, just like all these miners, if they really want to survive, unfortunately. It's making it really tough with the market cap being at 54 million right now. They have to grow internally. That's tough. That's really tough for them. But definitely check them out. There's a lot more that they do here than just Bitcoin mining, obviously. All right, next is DMG here. DMG, same kind of situation, more or less. 168 million shares. Market cap is at 62 million. They do offer Blackseer, I think, software. They have software. They have a pool. They have other things as well. And they're at least growing a little bit. Not much. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the performance here hasn't been great. I mean, look at this. From 12 weeks ago, they're only up 1.9%. From 8 weeks ago, they're up 6.3. 4 weeks ago, they're up 4.8. And then last week, they were up only 0.27, whereas other miners have done much better at that point. They do have a HODL of 399 Bitcoin. That's valued about 28 million. So you can see their HODL to market cap is about 46 million. Current hash rate 1.7, future hash rate about 2.1 roughly on it. So they still have very little growth here going forward. Their production did improve though, 34 BTC here in the month of October. Bitcoin HODL has been kind of all over the place with them. It's definitely down to the lowest portion it's been in a while here, down to 399. BTC per exahash efficiency, pretty efficient this week, this month of October actually, 20.6. How much they sold Bitcoin, you can see their hash rate also. Pretty flat throughout the year. We had a nice little bump here in October. Revenue has been also kind of low. 3.37 was the high in March, and then it's coming back up a little bit here, 2.23, but that's with Bitcoin going up in value, so that's helping things out there. What else we got here? Okay, quarterly results. You can see that they're last 4 quarters, operation cost minus depreciation, it's not too bad. And then here, cost to mine 1 Bitcoin minus depreciation, pretty high here, 50,000 for Q3 it looks like. That I'm calculating for them. And then Bitcoin mine has been coming down. Debt to equity is 0.2. So that's not too bad. Current ratio is still pretty good, 2.3. So that's actually a healthy balance sheet there. That's good. And now total current assets, 31 million. Total current liabilities, about 13 million. So that's why I said healthy balance sheet there. So they're in a better boat, all things considering, right? Institutions did increase a little bit here to 10. Shares also increased to 4.89. Percentage went up to 2.87, but they don't have any NLS ratings for them, so we got nothing there. Based on my numbers for them, I have them between 43 and 65, and that is using the latest numbers. Let me make sure. Actual numbers, yeah. Actual for June and March and September. Those are actual figures that I'm using for the Bitcoin mining side of things. And we can see, yeah, 43 to 65 cents. They're at 37 cents. They're undervalued, actually, in my opinion here. And even if I use the numbers for October times 12, I have them between 40 and 59 cents. So they are undervalued a little bit here at least. On that one. What else do we have here? Oh, they did announce that they're getting the S21 Hydros, about 400 petahash of those things. So I calculated about 1,255 of those. They're doing those in those cubetainers as well. So they got that going for them. And I'm guessing that they're going to be taking out some of these older generation miners here. I think some of these here. Because they reported with these, they're going to get to 2.1 exahash installed. So I did take those out here in November, December, and we got some other miners coming in here as well. But that's kind of what the revenue we got for them. And then you can see here on the revenue side of things here for them, they do have a couple things, I believe. Yeah, revenue. So they got self-mining, mining equipment, hosting, net pool, and other as well. So they do have some other things that they're generating revenue on from that. All right, let's see. All right, so that's that one. All right, I think I covered everything in here. Yeah, I did. Okay. Next, here's Mawson. Mawson has not updated their information since August. So they might be on my chopping block here. I don't even know if they're mining anything, to be honest with you guys. I think they transitioned more into hosting and into, I think they have a HPCI play there as well. That they got a customer there for that. But the performance here hasn't been, it's been actually not that bad. It's been actually pretty good. 24% up from 12 weeks ago, 50% from 8 weeks ago, 15 from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were up 15% as well. Market cap still very small, 30 million market cap. I mean, it's probably one of the smallest ones here, if not maybe for Sphere. Maybe Sphere might be actually smaller than them. We'll take a look at that one next. But looking at the numbers here, let me see if I have it here. Let me see here. Where is it at? Mawson. Yep. Last update we got for them was for September. This was back on October 17th, so roughly about a month ago. Oh, so they did announce it. Okay, so I missed it. How the heck did I miss that one? All right, so I'll get that one updated for you guys since they did update it here. Excuse me. Yeah, I got it. So okay, so you need to add September on here. So let's take a look at that one really quick. Where did it go? Let's see what they got here really quick. Oh, and that's why. It was a lot of missing information here. Okay, so that's why I didn't put it in there. And remember there was a reason why, but I just couldn't figure out. Let me see here. All right, zoom this in here. So here's what we have. Total monthly revenue was up 65%. Okay, that's fine. Going down here to the actual unaudited financial and operational highlights for September, total revenue was up 65 to about 4.15 million. Okay, how much of that was Bitcoin mining? Digital colocation monthly business revenue was 3.36. So was there self-mining only about, what is that, 700,000 maybe? Maybe, right? They don't provide any numbers. Well, how much Bitcoin did they mine? Don't have that information on here. So it's tough to follow that and get any kind of, I mean, I could probably try and figure it out, subtract the 3.36 million from 415 and get how many thousands of dollars they generated on Bitcoin maybe, but I don't know. I just don't have the information on it. So I'm going to I'll probably end up scrapping them altogether from the list of miners potentially because there's nothing for me to track here. It's hard, right? So that's that one. All right, so I wasn't off on that one. There was a reason for it. Okay, next one here is Sphere 3D. Last update we have is, I think, for August for them, maybe. I have them in July. Did update them for August here. Let me see. Let me go over here. Minor comparison. What do we have for them? Sphere. Yeah, I got nothing for August, September, October for them, looks like. So Sphere Let's take a look at Sphere here. Do I have Sphere? Yep, Sphere. Yeah, August is update is the last one that I have here for them. So no September, no October, and at that point they were let's see, what were they doing here? August 58. No, sorry, 12.7 Bitcoin mined here in August compared to 58.3 August the year prior. So I mean, they're still at 1 exahash here. Oh my gosh. So that one might be on the chopping block as well for ones I cover because I'm not getting the information. It's hard to cover them, hard to figure out where they're at, which is unfortunate. So they might be on the way out as well. Might be folding the business there. And then finally, Stronghold, same thing. Same kind of situation here. Last update I have for them is August. If you look at their press releases here, they are talking about third quarter here. Stronghold provides August. We don't have nothing for September or October still. So they might be on the chopping block, but I think the reason that they're not providing that stuff is because they're getting bought out by Bitfarms anyway. So it's kind of like, why spend the money on the press releases if you're getting bought out by Bitfarms? So, I mean, you don't even see anything on here about them providing update that they're going to be hosting for Bitfarms, right? It's just they're trying to preserve capital as much as they can. So I'm probably going to get rid of them as well, put them on the chopping block because within a month or two, they're going to be, well, probably more than that. Probably within 2 to 3 months, they're going to be taken over by Bitfarms. So that's the update on these guys here right now. And then if we look at the weekly numbers for them, we can see here that from the 52-week highs, Mawson has done the best. It's up 297%, along with Stronghold being up 226%, BitDigital up only 143%. That's surprising because BitDigital actually has a much larger market cap than these guys do, but these guys have outperformed it. Digihost up 119, Bitcoin's up 119, so those have done the same. Then you got basically Sphere up 118, DMG 52, and Argo only 11%. So not a good showing there. And then last week, we can look at the smaller guys. Bitcoin's up 10%. Quite a few of these guys have outperformed here. A couple that are smaller. You guys can take a look at that. I'm not going to go over that really quick. 4 weeks, that's how things stack up there. 8 weeks and 12 weeks. Okay? So that is it for these guys. All right. I'm going to provide these spreadsheets, the large miners, the small miners to you guys, all to the Patreon members and to the YouTube members as well tomorrow sometime. Or maybe I might do it today. It's still pretty early. It's only 9:15. So by the time we get done with Q&A, we should be at, I don't know, maybe 9:45 if things go well. So I may have time to do that today. So if I have time, I'll do it definitely instead of waiting for tomorrow. Usually we get done with these live streams much later on. But as always, Patreon members get access to that along with YouTube members. $8 a month for the Patreon membership, and then whatever the fee is for YouTube to be a member there. But that's it. That's my sales pitch for you guys. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin really quick as well, and see if we hit a new all-time high already or not on that one. Let's see, where do we want to go? We want to go over here. Bitcoin is at 81,378 on that one. Let's see. Yeah, we're still, well, maybe we'll get to 82,000 this night still. It's still 3 hours away. You never know. All right, let's get into the Q&A side of things here. We got a bunch of you guys in here, so I'll try to catch up with some on some of the comments as well. You guys have been quite busy commenting. Let me go back up a little bit. I'll try to catch up a little bit, see if we have anything. I'm not going to go all the way to the top because that's just going to take too long because there's way too many, but I'm looking for questions here. Let's see. Okay. Do we have any questions? Okay, let's see here. Kevin O'Leary mentioned Hut 8 on Fox Business, talking about the need for their data centers. Okay, so are they also, Kevin O'Leary, are they also getting him on board to cover the company? They got Anthony Pompliano, right, also covering them. Okay. Yeah, the market's open tomorrow. It's what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Veterans Day, but the markets are open tomorrow. What else here? All right. Bitfarms is only 2.6 exahash above their 2022 target. Been targeted in January 22 2 exahash. Not sure they can keep the promise of 21 exahash. Yeah, we need a lot more growth this month, November and December. If they can get it like 4 or 5 exahash installed this month, I think they could still possibly do it. but it's definitely going to be challenging for them. And if they're off by a month, that's fine, right? If they're off by 3 months, okay, that's not good, but a month is fine. All right. Oh, what else we got here? Okay. You guys don't have any questions. You guys are commenting about Cleanspark, all that stuff. Okay. Trying to catch up here. Okay. Seb, how are you doing? What are you thinking about Bitfarms going into tomorrow? Currently sitting at 220 in the pre-market. Sitting at 220. It should be probably higher than that, right? I mean, Bitfarms was at 224 on Friday. It looks like it closed. So it should be, I mean, Bitcoin's gone up nicely. It should be going up nicely unless Riot's selling. That could be a possibility there. You just never know with them. Let's see. Undervalued miners who? The miners that are still undervalued, I pointed that out earlier. Let me see if I can pull this up again too. Enterprise value. Here's a good screenshot. There you go. Enterprise value. I take out, basically I use the enterprise value. So market cap plus debt minus cash minus HODL even. I'm taking out HODL out of all these guys here just to look at their operations side of things. And you can see Bitfarms for future hash rate growth. Bitfarms, Cleanspark, IRES are still the most undervalued based on what I'm seeing here. TeraWulf, Core. Core I can understand. Core has a huge customer there with CoreWeave. So I can understand that. But TeraWulf, Cypher, I think BitDeer, Hut 8 are overvalued currently from what they are actually operating as Bitcoin miners. But there's a lot of hype around HPCI, and they're catching that hype. All right, there's that one. Yes, Cleanspark is undervalued. Okay. Ian says, Sebastian lays out all the stats. You just need to pay attention and take notes, or pause the video if you can. If you were watching this, pause it. Take a screenshot of it. I mean, you guys can have all that information there. Okay. When will Cleanspark be able to trade again, and will shares go lower or higher by Friday news? I think it's gonna. My theory is gonna start trading tomorrow. They gave the SEC all the numbers, or not all the numbers, the amendment that they needed to for the warrants on Friday. So they should be able to be good to go on Monday, tomorrow, if everything gets approved there. So hopefully that'll be enough. Okay. Seb, Cleanspark was halted because of the warrant clerical error. I don't even know they had. Yeah, I didn't know either until I saw that they had. They were halted, but that was because they bought Grid and they used warrants, I guess, to buy as a part of the purchase there. Yeah, so those are the warrants that are going to be part of the deal there. I don't know exactly how the warrants work. We have warrants with Core as well. We have CORZ, CORZW and CORZZ, I think, also warrants there. It's the same thing on those. Okay. Let's see here. 282 likes and 282 live and 70 likes. Come on, guys. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Seb, your outlook for Riot at the end of November, end of November and 2024. I mean, I think they should be higher than where they are right now. But the big thing for them was always the operational uptime. Can they fix that? And Jason's talked about it. They need to improve their operational uptime. Can they get much closer to 95%? Even without that, I mean, you can see the stock is doing much better this time, or at least in the last couple of weeks. Stock has been doing really well. So Riot right now is, where's Riot? Riot is at 1281. I mean, I could see if Bitcoin gets to 100,000 by the end of the year, we could see them probably, $20, $25, somewhere around there. As long as they continue to provide good updates for operational uptime. All right. Yeah, Bitdigital is a strong company there, right? They have a lot of optionality that they can use that cash for and everything else. It's just, unfortunately, they're not growing their Bitcoin mining. So, and my threshold for this year was 5 exahash. If you can get above 5 exahash, you can be in the large miners. If you're not, you're going to be in the smaller miners. And then next year, we'll probably up that again to maybe like 15 exahash. When I get into like 15 exahash by the end of the year, you're going to be out possibly. Let's see here. Question. Hey, Seb, thanks for all. I saw your empty plate on X. Will you keep buying more? I'm really tempted to buy more. I am. Yeah. And that was in reply to Mike Alfred. He put out a tweet, 81,200 something for Bitcoin, and he had the stake of a Wagyu steak on a plate, I guess to celebrate. And I replied to him with an empty plate that said, this is all for empty plate for me tonight. I need to save something like that. I need to save more to buy more. Yeah, so I'd like to buy more. I did my finances today also, just to kind of see where I'm looking at things. And I might have some capital that I can deploy a little bit this week. Especially which stock is your top pick? For me, it's still Cleanspark, followed by IREN, and then Bitfarms. Let's see. What about Soluna? Soluna I don't cover. I covered them. Gosh, I covered them probably a year and a half to 2 years ago now. When they were doing really well, this was when we were in the bull run. I think it's 2021. And then when they got into 2022, they got in trouble. They got a new CEO, so I haven't covered them since then. Okay. Good news, Seb. Riot has gone from 7 to 14 in a few months, and Bitcoin is only 80,000. What price does Bitcoin have to be to see Riot at price at 250 or better? Why, my guy? I value your input, I guess. Your value. Okay. 80,000. What price does Bitcoin have to be to see Riot price at $250? Oh my gosh. Oh, I would think, man, we were going to need Bitcoin to be like closer to like 300, 500,000 at that point, I think. But you just never know. Depending how much hype we have, how much hysteria we have in the market as well, and how much greed there is, we could see these guys run up quickly too. My conservative estimate for the miners was like Marathon could probably get to like between 60 and 80 this cycle. Riot, I think, could be somewhere around like, I would say maybe 50 to 70, maybe if they do really well in their operations. Cleanspark was between 60 and 70. IREN was around 80 also. But if we go past, my thoughts of Bitcoin getting to like 180,000, we could be much higher than that on the miners as well. Okay, let's see. Mara's up 18% overnight. Very nice. Yeah, we could have another day tomorrow where the miners are up 30%. Price prediction on Cleanspark for the week. If it starts trading tomorrow, I think it's going to catch a bit up because it wasn't trading on Friday. Some people have said that there were some shorts also that couldn't cover on Friday. So those guys might get wrecked, so they're going to be covering. So we could have a nice day tomorrow, at least on Cleanspark, if it goes back to trading. But for the week, I don't know. It depends where Bitcoin goes, really. It's tough to say at the end of the week where it's going to go without knowing where Bitcoin's going to go. Yeah, I do think it might resume trading. They've provided all the paperwork to the SEC, so I see no issue there. Let's see. How much Cleanspark stock do you have? Not enough, to be honest. I don't have enough of these guys. I don't have enough of IREN. I don't have enough of Bitfarms. I wish I could buy more. Cleanspark, buy if it dips tomorrow. Yeah, like I said, I may put in I may buy some more. Let's see, chance that Bitfarms goes back to $2 again once Bitcoin down. I would like to sell a bit because my average is 277. Oh, if we had a dip, it might go down to $2 depending on how big of a dip we have in Bitcoin. Right? Is Bitcoin going to dip 5-10% before continues going up higher? Maybe. But I'm not counting on it right away. Let's see, Cleanspark will dip tomorrow. That I don't know if it's going to dip or not. I'm thinking it might go actually up. Okay. This halt on Cleanspark reminds me of what happened in GME where they didn't allow folks to trade. Yeah, but at least they're not allowing you to buy or sell, right? And with GME, remember they only allowed you to sell. You couldn't buy, but you could sell. That was just crazy. David says, huge short squeeze for Cleanspark tomorrow. Possibly, yep. All right. Bitfarms 250. Bitfarms is at 250 in overnight trading. Nice. Okay. When would you expect Cleanspark to be trading it? I would expect it tomorrow, but it might be delayed a little bit. Might be an hour delayed, 2 hours, whatever it might be before they go through their process that they have to go through. I'm sure Cleanspark wants their stock to be unhalted as soon as possible, especially as Bitcoin is going up like crazy. How do you think Mara will do after the earnings? I think it's already priced in. We know that the earnings are not going to be great. Yes, they're probably able to take advantage of the FSB rules a little bit. Bitcoin's up a little bit from the prior quarter, but nothing major. So I still expect them to be in the red. Okay. I'm lost tonight, which I just came in and not sure where to add or which ones I should add to or buy into after the rally in Bitcoin. Dollar cost average into the ones you really think are going to do well, right? So there's a lot of these miners. The top miners that we talk about all the time, I think a lot of them will do great. Some might do better than others. Time will tell. Okay. So Cleanspark will go up or down, whichever it might be. I don't have a crystal ball, unfortunately. I can't tell you based on charts or anything like that because you never know. Bitcoin's going up. I'd expect Cleanspark to go up as well. But if it goes down, that might be a good buying opportunity. You don't think CORZ is overvalued? No, I don't think CORZ. CORZ is going to be going up in value until it gets to where they're generating revenue from CORZ, CoreWeave, with the HPCI play. That should be sometime in the second half of next year. So I'd expect the stock to continue to go up there. It's been a sketchy tear all year. You think Mara and Cleanspark are being shorted? They've been being shorted in the past year. We'll look at the number of shorts probably either this week or next week. We'll do a review on those as well. Bitfarms top $69. I actually think it might be actually higher than that, especially with the kind of cycle that we're in right now. Bitcoin could do much better than we expect. At that point, I still think they could get somewhere between 10 and 20 this cycle. Bitfarms top, 15 to 20. That's on the higher end, but yeah, I could see that. Let's see here. Zob777, hi Seb, hi, how you doing? Okay. Okay. How confident are you that miners return more from here than MicroStrategy? Pretty confident. If things play out the way that they played out last cycle, at least. That's the only thing I can go by. Okay. How high can Wolf go this cycle? That'll depend greatly on if they get an HPCI customer, if a hyperscaler goes to bed with them or buys them out, right? So it'll depend on that, I think. Because in Bitcoin mining, they're going to Bitcoin mining to 10, 13 exahash, something like that. But it's not nowhere near as big as some of the other guys are. So they're not being valued so much on that. They're being valued more on the hype around HPC AI. And then they also have two prominent investors in them. You got Duncan Miller and somebody else. I think Cohen was another one that was in there as well buying it. So that's why they're catching a very, very premium price, I think, right now. All right. Okay. What percentage do you plan to sell in December? Several gurus are yelling sell. Does that make sense with such a BTC-friendly White House taking over in January? The reason they're saying sell, it might be because of year-end profits, putting on the books, things like that. We saw that happen last year as well. If you remember, like the last week and a half to 2 weeks in December, Bitcoin went down, right? So we might see that again if you're trading it, right? If you're still in it for the long term, I think weather the storm, buy more if you can when it does happen, and then just wait until we actually get to 2025 and sell something in 2025. All right. I'll look for the end of November. I have no idea where that could be. Maybe closer to 20, depending where Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin's at 90,000. Heck, we could get to 100,000 in Bitcoin even this month if it continues going up the way it is. I mean, all we need is a couple of days where it's up 5-6%, and we could be close to 100,000. Hey Seb, what do you think Bitfarms will have on their earnings on Tuesday and predictions? I think they're going to be in the negative on that. Yeah, I just don't see them getting a positive EPS out of it just yet. We need Bitcoin to be much higher on that one. Okay. Hi Seb. Oh, good point here. The SEC is closed tomorrow for Veterans Day. Cleanspark may not resume trading. Okay. Well, that would be crappy if that's the case. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they got that stuff into them on Friday early enough to where they, maybe unsuspend it or unhalt it. But that's a good point. Let's See, I think Bitfarms might trade above $3 this week if they have a good quarterly report on Tuesday morning. They did generate more revenue in Q3 than they did in Q4. So them and Riot were the only two companies that actually did that quarter over quarter. Okay. What do you think of SDIG? Well, Stronghold is getting bought out by Bitfarms. So they haven't been providing any numbers or any information here recently. So really not much there to cover them on right now. What else here? MicroStrategy is overbought. Cleanspark are not yet. Yep, I agree. Okay, I really wish you would check out Galaxy. Beg you. Galaxy Digital, they don't provide monthly operational update. Plus, now they're getting more into HPC AI, right? They're kicking out Argo out of their Helios facility, and they're transitioning that over into HPC AI. Okay. Do you think Bitfarms is going to dump on Tuesday? I don't think they're just going to dump. I think that's kind of priced in already with all these miners. Everybody knew that Q3 wasn't going to be the greatest for them. A lot of these guys were going to be in the red. So I think it's priced in. Let's see. Cleanspark really messes you guys up. Yeah. That halt was not good. Okay. Hi, sub. Where do you check overnight trading? Who can trade overnight? I don't trade overnight. And I think you can check it on I think Robinhood has it. You might be able to find it also on Schwab, E-Trade. Who else? Fidelity, I think you might be able to find data there. All right. And what's your strategy when you start selling the miners? Are you going to sell everything at once when it reaches a certain price? No, not everything at once. I'm going to dollar cost average out of them. So 5% here, 5% there, 10% here, see where things are going. I know for a fact I'm going to be able to time it perfectly, but if it can get in be ahead of the top by a little bit and sell some at that point, I think that'll be great. At least that's the plan, right? I want to take profits this time. I round tripped it last time. I do not want to do that again. See, anyone have Cleanspark news for halt? We're still trying to figure that out if that's going to happen. The unhalt tomorrow. Okay. Question. I also prefer miner to Wagyu. Yeah. Will you change your DCA out strategy in view of the current price development? I might wait a little bit higher than I would have thought to do so, right? My original thought process was to be around 100,000. Right now, with everything that I'm seeing, with Bitcoin possibly going as a asset reserve on the United States balance sheet, other states might be buying it as well, putting it on their on the reserve. Other countries, it's definitely playing out differently than I thought it would. So I may hold off until a little bit higher, but we'll see where things go. We'll see where Bitcoin's at the end of this year still. If it's higher than 150, I would say maybe 100, higher than 100,000, I think. If it's higher than that, it's definitely going to go up higher than I actually thought it was going to go for this cycle. So we'll see. Covered that. Okay. What else do you have here? B says, I'm hoping Bitfarms finally breaks out. Frustrating seeing other miners doing well and we can't get past Riot's 230 offer. I know. But the offer is off the table, right? So that offer is gone now. Okay. Let's see. DK says, pulled money out of MicroStrategy to put into miner dips that never came last week. Still confident the miners will return more than MicroStrategy over the next 3 to 4 months. Next, I would say 3 to 9 to 12 months, maybe. Not the 3 to 4 months. You need a little bit more time for that, I think. Let's see here. Seb, thank you for all your help. I truly appreciate it. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming in here as always. Okay. Do you think Trump may start buying BTC to be able to pay the national debt? Well, they're talking about putting on the reserve, right? And I've heard stories that they're looking to buy like 200,000 Bitcoin a year for like 5 years. I've heard that also. I mean, that would be huge. Okay. Okay, I talked about Galaxy already. Ben interview, I think that's coming up this week. I think. I thought it was last week, but I think they said the 13th, I think, right after they do the day after they do the earnings call, I think. Okay, many miners likely do a secondary stock sale. Why? What's your reasoning for that? Or at least, why would you think that? What's your price prediction for CORZ? Much higher from where it is right now, especially once they start generating revenue from CoreWeave, when the sites are built out and things like that. So I still think that there's plenty of ways to go up as far as how high can they actually go. I mean, they got Bitcoin mining. If they can get the block machines in there as well, that should help with their efficiency and hash rate. So they could also get on that with Bitcoin going up in value. So it's tough to say, actually, but I think much higher from where they are right now. What do you think about BitDigital when the market opens? Do you believe their stock price would run due to the Ethereum hodl? It might run a little bit, but it hasn't really. I don't know how many investors are looking at that, to be honest. I think a lot of the investors that are in here are looking either for HPCI, right, or Bitcoin mining. And then if you got Ethereum and you're staking it, okay, yeah, you're making something on it, right. But how much does it actually? I understand Sam's point there about how they can do the wheel, but I don't know. Is Cleanspark call done? Not yet, I guess. We're still waiting on that to be confirmed. Mara is so cheap. Mara's pretty low on there. Okay. Although markets are open tomorrow, sub-SEC is federally run department, and those are closed. Cleanspark may need to wait until, possibly. I just found that out from somebody else also. So that was not a good development there. All right. Let's see. Sebastian just managed to join in. Might have missed your comments on this earlier, but can I get your honest opinion on Bitfarms and if you still trust in Ben's execution? I still do. I still trust in Ben's execution, right? He's been only there for, what has it been now, 4 or 5 months, something like that. And, he's done already a lot of good things here. We have a much better, stronger board, I think. He's gotten people in place for other positions within the company, which is great. And they have a lot more going towards next year as well. Did they stumble upon the 12 exahash execution for this year by the end of September? Yes. Yeah. I mean, we can definitely say that they stumbled on that. But that was, a lot of it was to do with the miners, the T1s, getting warranty work on those by Bitmain. Okay. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. Now they have, I think it's going to be, 4 exahash machines going over to Stronghold this month. They need to get those up and running, right? We need to see those up and running. So we need at least I'd like to see at least an improvement in hash rate by about 4 exahash in October or November. So if they can do that, then we're closer to 21 exahash by the end of the year. So I still have a pretty good faith in Ben and the company there. They just need to execute. Okay. We covered that on. Did we cover that? I thought we covered that on Thursday. We're talking about that could be the warrants. But yeah, it was that. Okay. CORZ or Cleanspark, which one has better fundamentals and more upside potential? I think Cleanspark right now is more undervalued than CORZ is. If it comes to that, Cleanspark is also going to be growing to about 50 exahash within probably like the next quarter or two, right? Probably Q1 of 2025. CORZ is only going to go to maybe 25, I would say 25, 30 exahash at most right now that we know of, if they get the block miners there. But CORZ also have a huge deal with CoreWeave. That's pricing them up right now. So based on those things, I think Cleanspark might do a little bit better here in the short term. Okay. Let's see. BTC broke 80,000. Mike Alfred saying his tweet was just a joke. Yeah, I saw that too. Not the best look for him. Okay. Won't the U.S. government promoting Bitcoin affect the U.S. dollar? I don't know. You still need the U.S. dollars to buy Bitcoin. At least in the U.S. You can buy in other currencies elsewhere. Bitfarms earnings on Tuesday. Any prediction? They're going to be negative EPS. I could almost say that with certainty, I would think. Okay, Nissan laying off thousands of jobs and selling off more Monday. Okay, so automakers are definitely hurting. Okay, we could easily see 100,000 BTC when Gary Gensler gets fired. But that's not going to happen until, he might leave before then, but I think he's going to probably wait it out until the last minute maybe to resign. Let's see here. Devin, thank you so much. I don't want to post that comment, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Why not buy WGMI? Yeah, you can buy that too, right? I have that in my 401k profit sharing plan, and that's done great for me. It's up like 250, 300% right now from when I got into it back in January of 20. When did I get into it? January 2023 when I got into it. Let's see. DCA, the bull run is only half over for this cycle. Yep. Okay. Sebastian Hive CEO said they are aiming for 2% of the total hash rate on the mining pod this week. Oh, well, that's an improvement from where they were at 1%. Because they're looking to grow to about 13 exahash next year sometime, right? It was what they said. That would get them to approximately 1% of the network hash rate at that point. Right now, they're a little bit under the 1% because the Bitcoin network hash rate on average is 713, something like that, exahash. And they only have 5.6, so they're under that. And if they get to 13, which I think would be probably like middle of next year, we could see Bitcoin network hash rate being at like 1,300 exahash, right? At that point, that'd be still 1%. From where they are right now, it would be like a 2%. Okay. Okay. If Bitcoin going to 100,000, are you guys going to sell half of the miners? No. I'm going to slowly dollar cost average out of them. You're very welcome. Thanks so much for coming in here. How do I gift some money through the chat? Good question. Somebody might be able to help you out, but appreciate it, but not needed. Well, if you want to give a tip, I appreciate it, right? What else here? Or if you want, you give it to a charity. You know? Okay. Let's see. Q4 earnings is when the bull run is seen. Stop worrying about this earnings report. The more important issue is their growth. Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Trump has 2 more months before becoming president, in which so much bad weather hurting people around the world that this market's so overbought, and I think I will wait for a connection that should take. Okay. Try to understand that, but okay. Okay. Dad says I'm going to continue selling options throughout the bull run and until the next cycle. I'm catching up. Nice. Okay. Why is IREN such a big pick for you? It's always in your top 3 miners. Why is that? Growth, operations, uptime, megawatts that they have available to them as well. There's a lot of good things for them. They've done a lot of great things here in the last year. But they've been on my radar since, probably 2022, I think. If it wasn't for 2022, back in like September, October, where they had to return, I think it was like 3 to 3.5 exahash of machines because they did them through a special purpose vehicles through, I think it was NYDIG, where they turned them back because they were not cash flow positive at that point. So if it wasn't for that, I probably would have bought them earlier, but I was keeping an eye on them just to see how they go, how they rebound from that. And they rebounded quite nicely in 2023. And that's when I started buying back into them, or started actually buying them in, November of 2023, I think. All right. Darren says, my math has CORZ at a valuation of 27, 19 HPC business, and 8 BTC business. Do you see this as a reasonable valuation? $27 on it. I have to run the math on what is it, like 500 million they're going to be generating in revenue a year, roughly, right? On it. So that's what, 125,000 per quarter, or 125 million per quarter, depending on how many number of shares they have. So that's the big unknown that I have to take into account as well. Once the warrants get triggered, you get more shares in the company. So that, but based on that, I think that might be a little low here. I think you might be able to go a little higher on it. Okay. Let's see. Question, any updates for Bitfarms interview with McNally? That's happening on Wednesday, I believe, the 13th. Or is that? Yeah, I think that's 13th because they're reporting on Tuesday. Okay. Webull has it now. Has what now? They have Cleanspark trading now? Okay. All right. Let's see. Do you see Bitcoin over 150,000 by year's end? Boy, that'd be really, I mean, you're looking at 100% growth roughly from here. Could it do that? I mean, we would need to be up like 50% this month and another 20 some odd percent next month as well. It's not out of the question, but I don't know. I'd like to see at least get to 100,000. If we get to more than that, that'd be great. More Tim 27 says, I anticipate a lot more profit taking in December for the reason you said. To me, it seems risky to sell large percentages because you could get locked out with Trump supply issues and FOMO. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Can you go back over IREN or just talk a little bit? I've never heard of this one and it has me interested. Yeah, so IREN's been around for a while. I've been keeping an eye on for probably now 3 years, whatever it's been, 3-4 years. But excellent growth this year. They're getting 30 exahash this year. They increased their timeline to get to 20 exahash from originally by the end of the year to September this year. That was a good catalyst. And they said they're getting 30 exahash by the end of the year. So that was a good catalyst there. That's why the stock ran up. Good operations, good uptime. Megawatts are all great. So there's just a lot of good things happening for them. Healthy balance sheet as well. The only thing is that they don't hodl anything, but they do have the HPCI potential as well, which could offset the hodl if they get anything of concrete size there. All right. Okay. Let's see, the way things are looking, Bitcoin going to be past 100,000 before the end of the year. Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it's not so much catalysts there are. It is. All right. Which small miners have the most potential DMG? Can it 2 to 3x DMG? Maybe. I think so. As long as Bitcoin goes up 2 to 3x, I think they can go 2 to 3x also, right? And that's just the way you would look at miners, some of the smaller ones. They should at least follow Bitcoin for the most part. Okay. Bubba says, IREN have 31, yeah, it's 31 exahash. I said 30 exahash, but yeah, 31 exahash planned by the end of the year and should be valued at 40 to 50 on megawatt large sites. Yeah. What is your price prediction in the year 20? I won't be alive for that. 2,100 when BTC less mined with them having over 10,000 exahash. They're going to have probably more than 10,000 exahash. So probably at that point, you're going to have like 1 million exahash. 120 Barron Trump Jr. wins the president's bullish. Yeah, they're going to be probably valued at that point in Bitcoin, not in USD. Okay. So do you still think Bitcoin would be performing the same if Harris won and were Peanut and Fred avenged? In time, I don't know if it was, I don't think it would be the same, but the reason I said that, and I keep saying that, is because look at last cycles, regardless of who the president was, Bitcoin went up anyways, right? Did we get maybe such a big pump right now? But we have also a lot more things happening for them. We have the ETFs. We have them obviously talking about Bitcoin being as a reserve. So it is I think we're getting a bigger pump because of Trump winning. So you're probably right there. Okay. All right, what about? Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with some of the questions and comments here. Okay. How high Bitfarms can do at Bitcoin 100, 125, 150, 175,000 Bitfarms? I mean, just follow the multiples that Bitcoin has to get to that, right? So 100,000, that's not too far from where we are. We're only, 19,000 away from that as it is. Getting close to 18,000. We just reached a new, did we reach a new all-time high yet? We're close to it right now. We're at 81,757. So we're getting close to it again. I mean, it could go, gosh, Bitfarms, I'm thinking at 100,000 might be like $3.50, $4, something like that. I'm guessing 125, looking more around $5 to $7, 150, $9 to $10, somewhere around there, and then higher after that. Okay, especially when Cleanspark at $59. Oh, probably, I think we need Bitcoin to be about 150,000 at that point, if not higher. Well, first, Cleanspark needs to start trading again. All right. What is your price prediction for Cleanspark once they buy their 20th private jet and halts their stock for the 10th time straight? Much higher from where it is right now. Okay. The Bitfarms can close above $5. You can go quickly straight between 8 and 10 without any resistance. Okay. Let's see. Riot is trading higher than Cleanspark now. Riot Horseshoe looking strong. Nice. What else we got here? Let's see. Tevin says he's got BTC testing 82.5. Nice. I mean, we're not too far away from that. I can see that. All right. So if other miners keep running up, and let's say Bitfarms keeps doing what it is doing, staying under 230, when will you sell it? Don't you want to miss the run holding Bitfarms? Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I'm giving him until, like I said before, until we get a report on November updates, right? I need to see better growth, and we'll see how the stock does in that time. We still have basically, what do we got? 10th, so we got 20 some more days of trading here. A little bit less because we also have the holidays coming up here with Thanksgiving and all that stuff. But we'll see how it does, right? At that point, if operations isn't doing great, if they're not getting much more hash rate installed, like I would like to see, at that point, I may sell a portion of it, all of it, and put it into Cleanspark and IREN. Especially if the stock is still at 230 and the other ones have gone up, 50%, 75%, 100%, something like that, and that one's still at 230. Well, then, yeah, might be worth swapping it out. Let's see. Can you cover Soluna, please? Even though they're small cap miner, they have more megawatt in the pipeline compared to the mid cap BTC. Well, a lot of these guys report that. There's companies that are reporting that they have, X megawatts potential. But can they get those things done? Can they get the approvals for those things? That's the other part. So I don't like to go by what they have potential for. I like to go what they actually have. So, and then with them being small, I mean, I think we'll keep an eye on them, see how they do this cycle. And can they grow to be like at least a middle tier miner, right? Instead of being on the smaller side. But they're also doing some kind of funky things a little bit. They're partnering with other companies. They're doing these partnerships. So that's also going to be a little bit harder to track to see how they're doing. Okay, let's see here. Seb, did you see the news on Hoskins from Cardano? I did not. No, I do own some Cardano. Please share that with us if you don't mind. Let's see here. Hey, what do you think about Hive? I've had Hive since 2017. I sold it last year because I just didn't see them growing as much as the other miners. I round-tripped them, basically. But I sold them. I think they're a great company. They're like one of the first ones out there to be publicly traded. They have great operations, great uptime, very astute about their financing and things like that, their costs. They don't spend a lot of money. So I think they're a great company on that regard. I just wish they would want to play to be like the best. And they're not. They're the best at possibly like uptime, operations, things like that. But when it comes to growth, they're not the best at that. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here in these miners right now. Cut. Can you please let me know what is expected revenue for Bitfarms this quarter? Yeah, we can look at that. That's easy. Okay. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high again, 81,943. We just had it here a second ago. All right. So we keep getting new all-time highs. Let's see here. Where's Bitfarms? Bitfarms. There it is. Okay. So like I said, Bitfarms is the only one along with Riot to have higher revenues here in Q3 than in Q2. So June, they reported 41.5. I had them at 40, right? So I was off by a little bit here. I was on the lower side of things. And then September, I'm estimating that they're going to be 42.9, somewhere around there, right? Give or take a little bit. I've been pretty close to them as far as where they're at. I'd like to be a little bit better on it, but I don't know if it's just depending on when they sell them. I haven't, at the average Bitcoin price for the month, they might sell them differently, hold off for a day or two or something like that, try to get as much money as they can. That's maybe why I'm off a little bit here on it. But the other miners, I'm a lot closer to them. Let's take a look at here, like Cleanspark. Cleanspark, I was pretty close here, right? Off by only 0.09% here for Q2. Our Q2, this was their Q3, I believe. But that's kind of what I'm looking at, 42 million. So that would be an improvement from what they had, which would definitely show that they're going in the right direction, right? Their best quarter was in March, Q1. They were at 49 million. So I was off by a little bit on that one as well. They came in at 50 million on that one. All right. So that's kind of what we got there. Let's go back here. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Seb, isn't it true that in a BTC bull run, all miners will run, even the bad ones? Yeah. Yep. Some will do better than others, right? But they will all run. Let's see. Bevneed says we should all agree to send 500 each when we all cash out from miners next year. Oh my gosh, that would be too kind of you guys. But yeah, I think I'll do very well if you guys are doing that well. I'll do that well also. I would just say, maybe instead of giving it to me, send it to somebody that does need it, or like a charity, right? I think those could always use help, especially a good one. Okay. Okay. SH says too many rookie investors and Bitcoin miners who don't know how to play the stock market. They will lose because of fear and will miss out on Bitfarms run by not being patient, fear and greed game. Potentially, yes, and that's one of my fears there, right? Is I get out of it and then it goes on a run. So it's kind of like I've always played it this way, at least here within the last couple of years. It's been when others are fearful, that's kind of when I want to be greedy, especially with the miners. And then when people are getting too greedy, that's kind of when I want to be fearful with it as well. Okay. Scott says 100,000 looks like a no-brainer now. Talked about that one already. So yeah, just when you guys post a comment, bear with me. It takes a while to get through all these comments. So I will get through them though. My brain's telling me Bitcoin will top between 150 to 80,000, but my guts are telling me 200. Oh, that'd be kind of good. I mean, that's kind of where I was thinking also that Bitcoin would be around 180,000. But yeah, if we go up higher than that, that's going to be fantastic. Okay. Gary says NYDIG issue with IREN brought IREN price to $1 or $2. Absolute steal with all their assets. Best buy of my life. Nice, yeah. Okay. Sorry I'm late, but what's your Cleanspark prediction for next week? Bearing in mind the short interest. Thanks. Yeah, it's going to go up higher. Bitcoin goes up higher. They're going to go up higher. Do I know exactly where they're going to go? No. But do I plan on selling in the next week? No. I plan on selling in the next 6 to 9, 12 months, something like that. So I don't care what's at tomorrow or the next day. If it's down tomorrow, I'd like to buy it, right? But that's about it. That's all I really care about. And I just hold on to it for a little bit longer. Let's see here. Plan B in stock to flow model is predicting BTC all-time high in the next 4 years between 250 and a million. In the next 4 years? I don't know. I mean, if we have a similar cycle like we have in the past, this bull run's going to be over next year sometime. If we don't, if it's not the similar cycle, then it's going to be an extended cycle. Then yeah, then we could possibly see that. Okay. Do we know when Cleanspark will start trading? We're thinking tomorrow, but we'll see. But the SEC is also closed tomorrow because of the holiday of Veterans Day. Okay. Let's see here. Hey, Seb, I know it's not financial advice. I'm already in Bitfarms and Hive. What other miners would you suggest I look into? Look into Cleanspark, look into IREN, look into Riot, and then Marathon, I would say, as well. They're still got the most growth here happening this year, next year. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Can you update your estimated target price for Cleanspark, Bitfarms, IREN if Bitcoin reaches 220,000? I'll do that once I have the quarterly results, because that way I'll see where the shares are at that point. So that will help me out. Let's see. Do you like Cypher? I do like Cypher. I just wish they had more growth happening this year, and instead of more so into next year, like the second half of next year and towards the end of the year as well. But yeah, I do like Cypher. I think I like him a lot more now that Bitfury, I think it's Bitfury, owns a lot less shares there. Okay. how Q3 negative EPS will affect on Bitfarms stock in the short term. I don't think it's going to affect it. Bitcoin's going up. I don't think it's going to do that. Okay. Where'd it go? Does Cleanspark have any HBCI customers? Are you talking about HBCAI customers? They don't. Do you think it's possible that the Cleanspark hold was planned? Maybe get the price to go higher? No, I don't think it was because of that. Okay. I have 1,082 shares of DGHI. What do you think of DGHI? They're small miner, not much growth happening there. I would maybe put that into something else, something that's actually growing this year and next year as well tremendously. That's kind of where I'm looking at. Let's see here. Hi, somebody ignoring Mara and Riot comments. Please give a little importance to Riot, Mara. Yeah, I'm trying to get into questions. I don't really want to talk about comments. You guys are talking about all that stuff anyway, so that's the only reason I'm ignoring it. It's not because I don't like Mara or Riot. It's just I'm trying to find comment or questions here. And I see your guys' comments. I'm reading over them. Just, time is limited, and I don't want to waste your guys' time here going over comments that everybody else is reading. Okay. Covered that one also. That one's small. I don't know enough about them. I tracked them a couple years back, but I don't know where they're at right now. I know that they're doing some, not joint ventures, but they're doing some partnerships and things like that. All right. Okay. Hi, said, what will price prediction for Hive if Bitcoin's at 100,000 this month? Oh, this month it goes another 20,000 or so. Oh gosh, Hive would at that point. Where's it at right now? It's at 465. We could probably see it around. I could see probably around $6, if not higher. All right. Let's see. Bitcoin. Yeah, where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's at 81,943 is the top here on it. Just recently. So we're getting close to 82. Let's see. How are we looking on the 15-minute chart? We're choppy, but we're going up. So that's a good sign there. At least for the time being. We'll see where we end up at tomorrow. Okay. Question. Heard Biden going to make Harris president before transfer of power to Trump. Do you know why? Thanks. Yeah, I don't know why they would do that. To give her the credibility to run for the next election, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of for that. Let's see here. Let's see here. No disrespect, but has anybody ever told you look like Lex Luthor? Lex Luthor. I'm trying to think where that's from. What is that from? That reminds me of something, but... Tell me what movie is that from? Remind me of that. Okay. Did you see Penny Ether's post on Mara for Q3? His numbers are usually pretty accurate. I did not. No, I don't think I saw that one. Okay. Bear with me, everyone. Trying to see if there's any questions. Ready. Let's see. I don't want to leave you guys with like dead space here, so I'm just trying to make some noises. What else we got here? Okay, here we go. What happened to GPU's IREN bot? No news regarding to HPC AI. They did put out something, I think, right? Are you talking about the GPUs that were bought for mining Ethereum? I don't think they did that, but I think they bought GPUs for HPC AI, which I do think that they didn't post anything on getting new contracts with customers on that. At least I haven't seen anything on that. They're projecting some estimated earnings potential there. We'll see if they can get to those. Okay. How high do you think Cleanspark will be tomorrow? I have really no idea. It could be up 15%, 20%, 30%. Who knows? We'll see when it gets done. Fair price for IREN and Cleanspark right now. Let's take a look at it right now. Let's see. Go here. Okay. So here's Cleanspark right now. I think they should be somewhere between 1746 and 2618. That's kind of what I think right now, right? Somewhere around there. If we use the revenue from the last month times 12, I'm in between 20 and 31, right? So definitely undervalued there. IREN, if we look at them as well, we can see here they're at 10.99 as of Friday. I'm between 12.91 and 19.37, but if we use the revenue from October times 12 months, I'm between 19.03 or 28.54. So definitely undervalued, right? And that's kind of where I'm looking at. That's where I think they should be fairly valued. But what I think doesn't always turn out to be the case with the market. Sometimes we get close to it, we get to that, and then or at least historically, we've gone up to those numbers, and then we actually come down. So at least in the bull run here, we should be much closer to these numbers, I would think. That's why I still think that they're quite a bit undervalued. All right, that's that one. Let's see, Q&A, go back here. All righty. Talked about that one. Did I talk about that one? Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Sebastian, when we see Cleanspark above the $80 mark, oh, Josh, I think we're going to have to be higher than 180,000 to like 200,000 at that point. And depending also how much they dilute. That's the other question, right? For all these guys, my numbers are based on where the outstanding shares outstanding are right now. That's why I'm waiting for the updated numbers from them when they report Q3. At that point, I can make maybe some better estimates as far as where I think they could be, because that's going to depend greatly on how many shares they have. Okay. Since you really value growth in megawatts, shouldn't you consider analyzing Solana again? Their projected growth is around 400%, and those facilities are already being built. Yes, but those are with partnerships and with other things. I'm not a big fan of partnerships. It dirties up the things when it comes to reporting revenues and things like that. We saw that with JVs as well. So I'm not a big fan of that. And also, I mean, I'll take a look at them again. I'll take a look at their pitch deck again, see what's happening with them. Let's see here. Ed says, I pledge to send $500 to Seb if his least favorite miner, Wolf and Riot, 40 and 90 respectively. Okay. They're not my least favorite. I have nothing against them. The metrics don't make sense to me. Why are they being valued so high compared to the other miners that are actually, growing their hash rate and things like that? I know why they're being valued, just because of the HPCI. But it's not that I hate them. I don't hate any of these guys. I just want them all to do much better than what they're doing, right? I harp on them for operations or debt or things like that. But I don't hate any of these guys. Okay. Especially when Lamar eclipse $80. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You're going to have Bitcoin above 150, 180,000 at that point. Okay. Any reason not to keep investing in miners through Q1 2025? May not get 3 to 4x, but seems like you should see 30, 40. Yeah, I agree. As long as whatever your target is, if you're happy with getting 50%, 30%, whatever it is, some people are looking to at least get 2x or 3x. If you still think you can get that out of the miners here in the next, I would say 6 to 9 to 12 months, then yeah, I think it's it's a good time to dollar cost average in. That's why I'd like to be buying right now, but I've been a little bit cash strapped here recently, and I was buying about 3 weeks ago. I was still buying. What is your price for the next 3 days, 5 hours, and 14? Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully higher. Okay. Let's see. How about we chip in $50 a day for Seb to grow his hair? 100 days is $5,000, which is not too bad. Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of gotten used to being bald. It's kind of nice. You wake up in the morning and your hair's done already. The only pain is when you take a shower, you got to shave yourself, but it's not that bad. I've gotten used to it. Plus, I think if my hair grew out, it'd be all gray right now. So I'll look like a much older version of myself. I don't know if I want that. Okay. Hi, Seb, what is your biggest hold, BTC or Cleanspark? Thanks. Right now, it is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still higher than Cleanspark. There was a point in time earlier this year when Bitcoin was around, Cleanspark was around $20-some where that actually flipped, where I had actually more value in Cleanspark than I do in Bitcoin. All right. Let's see. Hello, Sebastian. Looking excited today. Can you say hi to my friend Orkan He got me into aping into miners this March. No, I'm dead from the inside. That's good. Well, it's good that you're dead on the inside because you're numb to it, right? You're numb to the price movement, so that's good. Okay, talked about that one already. Why is Bitfarms lagging so much, Seb? I mean, come on, bro. The only reason I can think of really is, yes, they missed a target for 12 exahash by the end of September, right? So that's one, at least recently here. And then I think Riot overhangs still. Riot still owns a lot of shares, 19.999%, whatever they own of the shares. That's a threat, right? That's a potential threat to the stock, because if Riot does decide to sell it, it's going to be, that's going to be painful. So I think maybe that's why. Previously, it was the CEO got canned. The Bitfarms board was bad. So to fix that, we had Paraguay FUD, we had Canadian Tex FUD, we had all this FUD around it. So it's just like somebody's trying to keep that one down for some reason. And maybe going forward, it'll do better. All right. Benny said Mara is king. Mara is the biggest. Mara is still the biggest one out there. Yeah. Alrighty. Trying to see if there's any questions. Sorry, we're getting close to the end here. And we've been already going on. Oh my gosh, we've been going on. When did we start? We started at what, 8:30? We're almost going on 2 hours, guys. Jeez. All right. Let's wrap this stuff up here. See what else we have here. Okay. Word on the street is Harris plans to run for governor of California. They need to wipe that whole party clean of California there. California is a mess. Okay. Can you cover more MicroStrategy and coin on your channel? These stocks are running more than miners. In the past, and yeah, up to now, I think they have been running more than miners have been, right? But the miners also went through a halving event where the MicroStrategy hasn't had to go through that coin as well. Coin is going to be generating revenue based on the volume of transactions, right? The more transactions, the more they generate. So that's kind of where they're really making their money on that one. And custodial things, custodial products for institutions, things like that. MicroStrategy, what does MicroStrategy do? They just keep buying Bitcoin, right? So there's not much to track there. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting with both of those companies. With the miners, there's a lot more to track. You got, you know it all. I'm not going to go over it. Yeah, Lex, okay, that's where he's at. Superman, thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do you swing trade miners or hodl for the long haul combination? I hodl. So I've been dollar cost averaging into the miners since January of 2022, right? I didn't know where the bottom was going to be. I just started investing as much as I can each month. I knew it was going to be, I'm going to not time it perfectly where the bottom is, but at least I'll get in before the bottom and get in the bottom, run through the bottom as well, and just dollar cost average into it that way. So it's working out pretty well for me. All right. Your thoughts on Gryphon and Greenwich, please. Thanks for what you do. You're very welcome. Also love that you said to give to a good charity instead. You're great. Oh, yeah, you're very welcome. Right. I make enough through my day job where I'd be fine, right? But even if I didn't do this, this is a couple $100, maybe $1,000, $2,000 more a month from doing YouTube and Patreon, things like that. So I'd be fine without that. But I still think that there are people that are in need. So yeah, I'll be okay. Give it to somebody else that needs it. Okay, going back to Griffin. Griffin's small, right? They don't own any infrastructure. They have hosting. Small team there though. But it's just how they need to grow. And how do they grow? I don't know. Right? They have to do something. What was the other one here? The other one was Greenwich. Greenwich, I covered Greenwich as well in the past until they went into financial hardship because of the bear market. I'm not sure how they're doing right now though. I haven't tracked them in a while. So, because they stopped providing monthly production updates. So that's another reason why. Okay. I did not see that one. Seb, you look like Edward Norton in American History X. I did not see that movie. I know who Edward Norton is though. Okay, let's see. You should do a Bitcoin price chart starting live stream. Start at the price of BTC until it reaches 100,000. You can't stop. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, we're going on 2 hours here. This is crazy. Okay. Being bald does not make you a villain mastermind. Yeah. But it does kind of go with the look, though, a little bit, doesn't it? Okay. You look more like Krillin from DBZ. I don't know what that is. Okay. What else here? 82,000 inbound. Yep. All right, I'm getting close to the end of the comments here. Hopefully we can wrap this up. What would make Mar have a negative EPS? Wow. Share-based compensation along with depreciation on the machines. That right there. Okay. Can you update how high Bitfarms can do tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, depends where Bitcoin continues to go on it. I think it should be higher. What else here? Alrighty, let's see. Okay, you guys are getting very specific here. What is your price prediction for Hive if Bitcoin goes up 1 cent in next 15 seconds? It's not trading right now, so it's not going anywhere. I mean, pre-hours trading, yes. Let's see here, 200,000 by the end of year. I don't think it's going to be 200,000 by the end of this year. I think 100,000 is possible. Okay. When do you think Cleanspark and Mara will retest their all-time highs? I think we'll probably see that here either this month or next month. All right. Okay. Have there been any rumors on Bitcoin celebrities such as Michael Saylor being in the Trump government? I have not heard anything. No. Or at least I haven't heard anything from it. All right. Baba says, check out the interview with Solana CEO John Belzier and really check out what they're planning across their several projects. Market doesn't seem to have picked it up. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Let me write that down. Where's my pen? I have it right down there. I'll check it out for sure. All right. Okay. Are there miners that mine other crypto besides BTC? Yes. Marathon also mines Caspa. Who else is there? Gosh, there's somebody else. They used to mine Ethereum, but Ethereum is no longer being mined. Digital stakes Ethereum, so they're getting that. I'm trying to think there's somebody else. There were more in the past where you had companies doing others, but I think that's the only one that I can think of right now. It's Marathon doing Caspa. Okay. Do we ever hear why Bitfarms CEO got fired? I think it was just an internal struggle between the board there and maybe what the CEO wanted to do. Maybe. Gryphon, yeah, I talked about that one already. Small, right? How can they really grow? That's a big challenge there. Okay. Okay, Greenish talked about that one also. Don't know. I've covered that one in the past, but not recently here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, even though Veterans Day is a federal holiday, both the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ will operate under their normal hours on Monday. Yeah. And remember, wasn't it NASDAQ that wanted more information on that? So if NASDAQ's operating for Cleanspark, maybe that would approve, because, right, I think NASDAQ wanted clarification, not the SEC. Okay. Question, best miner to start a position in? I would say Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms. Those are the ones I think that are more undervalued right now than the rest still. And then look into like Riot, Marathon, Cypher, and Wolf after that. All right. Trying to find. Okay. Okay, Christopher, thank you. Hit the likes of the dude needs more than, yeah, appreciate it. But I kind of like being small. You know, we can do these kind of streams here where I can try and get through all your guys' questions. If we have more subscribers and we have, 3,000 watching it at the same time. There's no way I'm going to be able to go through all these questions here. So I kind of enjoy being a little bit smaller. Okay. Did short selling will stop tomorrow? I don't know if it's going to ever stop. I think it's going to decrease. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this too. Guys, be careful with scammers. I'm getting some messages from friendly hot chicks. Yep. I've seen that too as well. Okay. What price are you considering selling IREN? Would you sell at 15? No. Much higher than that. Okay. Let's see. You should run a poll to see who people think you look like more. I might do that. I think we're running out of time now. I'm going to catch up here. Okay. Let's see here. Thank you for taking my question. Appreciate it. Yeah, you're very welcome. Appreciate you also for coming in. Yes, markets are open tomorrow. All right. Well, trying to get to the bottom here, but you guys are putting in more questions and comments. Okay. Well, let's see. What miners would you buy now with 25,000 all Bitfarms? Or no, I wouldn't go all in Bitfarms. I still think my preference would be Cleanspark, IREN, and then Bitfarms, right? So go in that order. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Mashi here. I just joined, so maybe someone has already asked this. Can the miners go back to their all-time high prices to catch up with BTC? Yeah. Well, depending on when you're talking about their all-time highs, like this cycle or last cycle. If you're talking about last cycle, I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that, but I think they might be able to do that depending where Bitcoin goes. Let's see, is Mara not overvalued in buy now? It is undervalued, but it's less undervalued than some of the other ones, like Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms, I think are more undervalued. Okay. Do you think Mawson will amount to anything? Someone is borrowing all my shares on Webull short squeeze, perhaps. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. They did get a HPCI customer there that could be helping them out. I think that was basically a lifeline there for them. Okay. All right. Let's see. Best CEOs, in my opinion. Who's the best CEOs? IREN, Bitfarms, Soluna. Is that what you're referring to? Okay. Which miners are you still buying if you have cash? I'm going to be buying possibly this week. I'm going to be buying some more Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms as well. Okay. Yep. Adam Solomon has been great too. Adam's done a fantastic job getting core out of bankruptcy and everything else. Can't take anything away from that guy, man. That guy's done a fantastic job. Okay. Thinking about buying DMG. What do you think? I'm not a big fan of smaller miners because they don't have a lot of growth. That's the main reason why I think you maybe look into some of the other ones. Yes, price is cheap, but could you do maybe better with some other ones? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Par says, I'm still looking for a sub 50 million lottery play. Seb, please advise, no financial advice. Oh, gosh. You and me both. Okay. Once you sell your miners, would you consider using the profit to buy actual Bitcoin? No, if I'm selling the coins, at that point, I'm thinking Bitcoin's going down in value, right? So I would just probably wait. So in the interim, I'm thinking of going to either real estate or maybe real estate and like the S&P 500 maybe. Split it up between the two until see where things go with Bitcoin. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Sadie likes for Sebastian. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Rob says, careful selling covered calls. Okay. I think I've covered all your guys' questions here. Geez, we've been going on, 2 hours now? Roughly? So, yeah. I think we will call it a day. And then we got something else. Let's see. DeFi says, DeFly, pullback on BTC is needed. Market is extreme greed right now. Yeah, I think we do need a pullback, but we can still go up a little bit higher before we do have that pullback. But I agree. We need a little healthy pullback. I think that would be great. All right. So tomorrow we'll find out if Cleanspark is actually trading or not. That would be good news for us, I think. We'll see where Bitcoin goes. I don't know if we have any miners reporting quarterly results. If they do, we'll cover that, obviously. We'll also take a look at the miners on how do they compare to each other for operations in October. Right, we'll go through that on my 6 to 8 metrics on that as well. We'll see who came in top 3, 5 miners for that, and we'll cover whatever else happens. So Greatly appreciate you guys coming in on a Sunday night. We've been going for 2 hours here, so thank you to everyone that stuck through it that long. If you have, congratulations. I need to go use the bathroom, so this is a perfect time to end it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's looking great for us. Just be patient. Don't get too smart with things, and don't try to time things too well either. Just try to buy in as you can. I think that's the best way to go. Okay? Love you all. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.